Good evening, student. This is the first part of the chapter Sectors of the Indian Economy, class 10th, subject Social Science. Student, I would like to start you with the page number 19 of your NCERT book. So kindly open this page if it is possible for you, because it is the first page of this chapter. And on this chapter, there are few pictures showing various economic activities producing goods and services. Let us discuss one by one. The first activity picture is showing you that postman is delivering a letter. Another is showing a person carrying luggage of a passenger. Third activity is showing that in the agricultural field there are two women involved in some agricultural activities. Fourth is a shop where there are ready-made garments being sold. And fifth, in the field brick making work is going on. Through these activities, our book has associated various economic activities under the different head that we call primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Before I further move to explain you these words, student, I would like to remind everyone that in class 9 there was a chapter People as Resource, in which you had a heading Economic Activities by Men and Women. In this heading we made brief introduction of the word primary, secondary and tertiary. So student, in this particular chapter also, in this chapter I mean sector of the Indian economy, we will try to classify various economic activities based on certain criteria. We would try to understand that what is the purpose of such classification. Before I take you to the classification of economic activity, I would like you to give some other example from the surroundings, so that you can understand that classification is not something that do take place only in economics. It do take place everywhere. Take first your school as an example. Ever since you have taken admission in the school, you are being categorized in one section or the other section. Like when you were in the kindergarten, you were called pre-primary section. Then between class 1 to 5, you were recognized as the primary section student. Then junior section, then secondary section, in which you are presently. Later on you will be going to the senior secondary section, then maybe after the school graduation, post graduation. Now question is, do we have any purpose of making the classification? Yes, we do have. Suppose in later part of your life, when you will be telling someone that I am graduate, person will come to know about the level of education you have acquired in your life. That's number one. Number two, student, that it is not only the teacher, it is not only student, teachers also in your school are categorized, like pre-primary teacher, primary teacher, then TGT teacher. PGT means postgraduate teacher. Then in the later part you will find professor and lecturer. By this means you will come to know that what a particular teacher is teaching, to what level particular teacher is teaching. That's how there is always a purpose of classification. Similarly, I would like to tell you that suppose you have some health issue, so you would like to go to the doctor, but the moment we say doctor, it seems to be that it is incomplete. Incomplete in what sense? It is incomplete means we do not know which particular doctor, because among the doctors there are various subcategories, sub classification is being done. Suppose you have nose related problem, uh, nose related problem means you will be going to ENT. Suppose there is heart related problem to any person, that person is likely to go to the cardiologist. If there is bone related problem, then the person is likely to go to orthopedic. If there is a problem related to eyes, person is likely to go to eye specialist. That's how all are doctors, but there are specialization of one area or the other. So doctors are also classified based on their abilities to deal with different organ of our body, be it internal or be it external. Then your own subject. Right now you are studying social science as a subject, but from class 11th onwards you will be studying economics, history and geography as a separate subject. Political science will also be a separate subject. Similarly, in mathematics you have different parts like arithmetic, algebra, geometry, solid geometry that you call mensuration, statics, various other fields are also there, student. In science there are physics, chemistry, biology is further divided into uh, geology and botany. So student, what we are wanting to convey over here, that in every field we do make classification. So in this particular chapter we would try to make classification of various economic activities, and there will be basically three criteria on which we would classify our economic activity. So number one, and the most important, because our larger portion of this chapter will be associated, that classification of economic activity on the basis of nature of work. In this category we shall discuss, as I said little earlier, in class 9th also we have discussed, that is primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Student, there will be another category, that classification on the basis of nature or structure of organization. Here we will discuss two category, organized sector and unorganized sector. And student, in the third category we will discuss the economic activities classified on the basis of ownership of means of production. It means in the institution where production process is taking place, who is owning, whether it is owned by the government for the purpose of the welfare of society, that is called public sector, or if it is owned by the group of either individual or group of people for the very purpose of making profit, that is called private sector. Student, there are some other sector also, like joint sector also, in which more than two sectors get involved. That's how, student, we will be going into the chapter, but our main thrust will be to understand primary, secondary and tertiary. In class 9 we had only a brief interaction, but in class 10 we are likely to find various changing parameters over the years in the primary, secondary, tertiary, their contribution, how it has got changed in the period of 40-50 year, means how they are contributing in GNP and GDP of the country. All this we will discuss, and we will also try to understand that what are the interdependence of these sectors. Let's begin from the page number 20, students. And on page number 20 you have been given information to define what is primary, secondary and tertiary. Let me find it out one by one. What is primary? It is mentioned in your book that any such activities which are undertaken by the directly using natural resource, please underline this word in your mind, directly using natural resource, or you can say that depending on natural factor. When we are depending on natural factor like climate, like rainfall, like sunshine, then any such production do take place is called primary sector. Student, I would like to make a detailed explanation of this, because I have experienced that students get confused between primary and secondary. They think that primary seems to be also man-made activity. Of course it is man-made activity. Take the example of agricultural activity, right from the process of sowing of the seed till the last process of harvesting the crop. Everywhere man-made efforts are involved, but that's not the case in the case of primary sector. In primary sector we find that once the sowing of the seed has taken place, after that natural factor comes, means the process of developing this seed into a crop is taking place in a natural environment, depending on the nature of the soil, depending on the climatic condition of the area where such productivity is taking place, depending on the kind of sunshine or rainfall to take place in this area. So you can say that in spite of human beings involvement, in spite of that the man-made efforts are there, this activity is directly involving some of the natural resources and entirely depending on natural factors. Take one more example to help you better understand. Dairy production, it is also considered into the primary sector. So if you consider that you have animal which give you milk, you provide them better quality of fodder, that's why they give you milk, so it is wrong. Even if you will not provide them fodder, it will be arranged by them, and then process of production of milk shall take place, because production of milk is a purely biological process. You may give them good quality of fodder, but that doesn't means that the nature is being changed by the man-made effort. Production of milk is very much part of a mammal. So these animals are likely to give you milk. Cow, goat, buffalo will give you milk. They cannot give you egg. Similarly, hen cannot give you milk. It is likely to give the egg because nature has made them. So any such activity in which nature is involved, in which direct production do take place involving natural factor, then it is likely to call primary factor. A student, in this we add agricultural, dairy, fishing, poultry farming, poultry and farming, quarrying, mining, etc. Because of this, primary sector is also called, please underline, it is written over here, primary sector is also called agriculture and related sector. And also in bold word, it is written in this paragraph that nature involved mainly but not entirely. That what I said in the early part, that though nature plays its major role, however some human activities are involved, like during the process of agriculture production, irrigation is done by the man-made effort, pesticide and fertilizer is used by the man-made effort. This is good enough to help you understand that primary sector is all about directly production. Means the directly word is the key word. Please keep this in your mind. Now moving to the another production of goods, that is secondary sector. In secondary sector, what we do? In secondary sector, we use raw material, and we go through using this raw material, we go through the process of manufacturing. You can say in your book it is written that we change any raw material into other forms through the manufacturing process. Now it is not depending on where this manufacturing is taking place. It may even take place at your home, it may take place in a small industry, it may take place at a cottage industry, it may take place as a big industry, but the nutshell is that the primary product what we have attained in its most primary or natural form is being changed into another form by the manufacturing process. Take few examples like milk production. Milk production, we can say that milk is natural and primary product, but on the other side we can say that the butter, the sweet made out of the milk product are all man-made. Cow do not give you butter, cow do not give you butter or any other milk related product. Now student, few more examples. Cotton product, after cultivation we have acquired cotton, then cotton will be made by the human being as yarn. Yarn will be weaving of the yarn will take place, and cloth we will get, and then tailor will make this cloth into a piece of shirt like I am wearing. So you can say that this is a cotton shirt, but this cotton shirt is entirely a man-made product. You can say this is secondary product, though some natural products are used in the making of this man-made product. This any product which is being made is called manufacturing sector or secondary sector, or sometime it is also called industrial sector. Student, this is another sector in which goods are also produced. So we can say that in primary and in secondary, in both process men are involved and goods are produced. But be very clear, in primary certain natural factors are involved directly. That's why we say that it is mainly but not entirely. Although man-made efforts are there, but there are natural factors what are making the difference. And in secondary, it is entirely man-made effort, because nothing is taking place directly. The product we acquired in its most natural form is converted into secondary sector. Now student, we have third sector, that is tertiary sector. I would like to tell you that in this sector we don't produce goods or service. We don't produce goods, rather we produce services. Like you can say this is helping hand to the primary and secondary sector. Say that vegetable is produced in a village. Now how it will be supplied to the urban area? How we are getting vegetables in spite of the lockdown situation? It means some transportation facility is running on. Though we are in a lockdown situation, we are not moving outside our house, but next to our house vegetable vendor is coming. How he is bringing the vegetable from the rural area? He is bringing it from the transportation services. Student, there are various examples. Godown is another service example. After having produced grains like wheat, pulses, rice, etc., we need to keep it safe. So there are some places required which are not producing anything, only keeping the thing being produced, or some manufacturing product like cement or some other product. You find that you place order on the e-shopping website like Amazon or Flipkart, but they provide the picture on the digital form to you so that you can purchase the product, but somewhere they used to keep the product. That is called godowns. So godown also provides services. Banking is another example, student. We used to go to bank and get various kind of services like depositing our money, or withdrawing our money, or getting loan from the bank. We do not actually earn the money over there, or the bank also do not earn money for us. It is only the services being offered from the banking side. Many other financial institutions are also in the category of the this is the in the category of the service sector. Student, view other examples. Communication is another example. These days, sitting at the home, though we are not moving outside, but we are able to talk to every single person in this part. That is another example of our service sector in which goods are not produced. Moving to this, now we can say that tertiary sector is also called service sector. So we are very clear. Primary sector is called agricultural and related sector. Secondary sector is called industrial sector or manufacturing sector, and tertiary sector is called service sector. Now moving to page number 21, student, there are table 2.1 which is helping us to understand. But before that, few point what I didn't discuss, that over the year service sector we are finding some essential services are involved. I have given only example of banking, communication, godowns or transportation, but there are other services also. These days we are getting services from doctors. They are doing good job so that this we can overcome the kind of problem in the surrounding of the coronavirus or the COVID-19 virus. Similarly, police personnel are providing us services so that we can remain back home and we remain safe. Engineers are also one who provide services. Our government employee, starting from the very basic till our prime minister, everybody is working right now. They are our public servants, so they are also providing us services. You can say lawyer also provide us services. You can say administrative officer also provide services. These are some of the examples. Then some are unskilled people who also provide services, like barber or washerman. They provide us services. These days we are not getting the services of the barber, so that we are unable to get our haircut being done. How this can be possible? So these are all other areas where services are provided. Your book is also mentioning that the role of service sector is rising because some new horizons are developing, like information and communication technology. ICT is another area. You can say ATM is another service area what bank has extended. These days we need not to go to the bank every time we want to withdraw money from the bank. We have another option, that is going to the ATM. Then we have various other services like online banking. We used to get without going to our bank, through our mobile phone we can either pay the school fees or any other transaction can be done. Student, few more examples I should be giving. Call center. Whenever any product in our house from any company gets any problem, we have some toll free number where we make the call and service engineer do come to our house to repair our product. That's a call center. It is also a service. They don't produce any goods. They simply pass our complaint to the required companies, to the associated companies, and company personnel do come and make the product for us. That is another area. Now student, moving to page number 20 where there is a table. 21, I'm sorry student, this is page number 20 where we have tables showing our interdependence. Every area, every production of primary, secondary and tertiary are dependent. Take for one example. I would also request you to please read along with me. If you have the book, if you have in the soft copy, if possible get the printout of this particular page. Imagine what would happen if farmers refuse to sell sugar cane to a particular sugar mill. The mill will have to shut down. Very true, because sugar mill depends on the raw material before it make the sugar cane converted into sugar and good, that is jaggery. If the sugar cane is not supplied without raw material, we cannot do anything. So you can say that primary sector without the supply of this primary sector, nothing can be done in the secondary sector. This cotton shirt cannot be produced until unless cotton is being produced from the primary sector. Cultivation of cotton do take place, then only it will be going to the companies to make the yarn or the cloth, and then finally stitching the cloth into a ready-made garment factory. That is another example. Now taking to another example, now rest of the example it is expected from you to fill what it is likely to, and I would suggest again use pencil, not pen, so that whenever your teacher do make the correction, you can make the required correction. Student, it is asked, imagine what would happen to cotton cultivation if companies decide not to buy from the Indian market and import all cotton they need from other countries. Suppose now companies decide that they will not purchase from the Indian farmer whatever cotton is being produced, they are likely to purchase from the nearby countries. Whatever cotton has been produced and kept will remain in the field. Nobody will be purchasing it, means farmer might be in deep trouble because they have borrowed certain monies to produce these crop. They will be in a debt trap situation. So you can say in this case primary depend on secondary also. It is not that secondary depend on primary also depend on secondary sector. Similarly, student, there is another example. Few examples are also there, you read it yourself, but I am giving you some example other than what is mentioned in the textbook. Suppose there is a strike of the transportation services, no truck is running on the road, no other matador like services are there. How it will be made possible that vegetable, being a perishable good, is going to be distributed to the household, every household, without any delay? Because as I said, it is not like wheat or paddy which can sustain for a longer period of time. Green vegetables are perishable goods, so they, after being produced, has to be provided to the nearby mandi from where it can go to the different places. Again, transportation means service is equally required. These days we are providing you all our video content through the data. Suppose government stop the internet services, how the all datas and all your internet interactive classes on what are taking place right now through online mediums will be taking place without internet connection. So it is another service example. Various example of services can be given. Now question is, do we need to have that internet also depend on the secondary sector? Yes. This mobile phone what I am using to make the content, and this mobile phone which is connected to the Wi-Fi of my house, is also a manufacturing product, so it is a secondary product. During the making of this mobile phone, as I said, there are certain products what are taken from the natural resources, so it is an example that this services what you are availing back home is another example that you are getting from your interdependence. Means primary depend on secondary, secondary depends on primary, tertiary depends on primary, primary depends on tertiary, tertiary depends on secondary, secondary depends on tertiary. That's called interdependence. So your last nutshell point of this primary, secondary and tertiary was that it is interdependent. On the same page, student, there are few questions asked. I would suggest that try to categorize these. In question number 3 you have been given various activity. Give a proper thought and find out which activity is considered primary or secondary and tertiary. Again, use pencil. Write P for primary, S for secondary and T for tertiary. Against these, there is a question number 4. Students in the school are often classified into primary or secondary or junior or senior. I already explained you, student. What is the criteria? What is the criteria that is used? Do you think it is useful? Of course. The moment you tell your any person that I am in the secondary section of my school, immediately that person comes to know that still you have not cleared your class 10th, or you may be in class 9th or you may be in class 10. Suppose your teacher is telling anyone that I am PGT teacher, it means anybody will come to know, any person who will be wanting to know that teacher must be teaching to the senior secondary section, because PGT means teaching to the 11th and 12th class. That is the purpose. There is question 1. Complete the above table to show how these sectors are dependent on each other. I already explained you 2. Remaining 2 you are likely to do it yourself, so I don't think your teacher help will be required. Explain the difference between primary, secondary and tertiary sector using examples other than those mentioned in the text. I have given you few examples other than your textbook. These you can use Apart from these examples what are being given by me or what is given in your textbook, you can have some example, give your thought from your surrounding experience. You can definitely find answers for this. So that is how, student, I am completing the first part of this video content. In the next part we shall discuss related issues of primary, secondary and tertiary. Thanks a lot.